The trick to knowing if you have DIY'd yourself into a course creation hole is that you don't actually know exactly what you're stuck on. I'm Dr. Catrina Mitchum, and I've been designing and redesigning courses and helping people get unstuck since 2009. So, how, as a DIYer, which I am myself, do you actually get stuck? So, you're smart, you're capable, you understand things, you're self sufficient, you may be independent, and this is why you're doing the DIYing. But sometimes that same strength results in a problem. You keep pushing even though it's actually wheel spinning, and then you get nowhere. And so, this is because of a surface problem and root of the problem kind of disconnect that we get when we are DIYing something for too long. So, you might think to yourself, I can't write my outline. This outline is too difficult. I keep getting confused about what's important. I keep adding things. When in reality, I'm avoiding validating this idea because I'm scared, right? We don't want to hear that our ideas are garbage. So we fall into this pattern, and I am guilty of it too. And I'm going to give you an example in 1 second. We start to work on these surface problems. We don't make any progress. We think, okay, well, then I'm just going to work harder on this surface problem. We're still stuck. We get frustrated, and then either we give up or we just keep spinning into that cycle until we are in surface problem burnout. So I'm going to give you an example. I have lots of things that I DIY, and this is how I know. I have 2 advanced degrees in writing, right? And so I feel like I can DIY myself through any writing project. I had started this book project, and I was just kind of, sitting down and writing and just like vomiting on the page. And I have kind of gotten to this point where I don't know what else. I don't know what else to do. And I keep thinking, oh, well, it's a lack of details because I've always been a 700-word writer on a 1,000-word essay. Or, oh, it's because I'm not weaving this through the story enough. I know about story. I teach story. And I'm at the point now where I'm just going to have to hire a developmental editor, right? I need someone else to help see the things I can't see because I am too close to it. So, some signs to look for to help you realize that you're stuck and not just busy, right? Because those 2 things can kind of show up the same way. You've been working on it for months. You've dumped a lot of hours into it, and you don't actually have any tangible progress or outcomes or deliverables or anything. You are constantly changing direction or starting over. You're doing some productive procrastination, right? And so this kind of looks like doing researching instead of building. The research piece is important, but if you have been doing it for months, it's time to actually do something with that information. If it keeps falling off your priority list, right, that's a pretty good indication that you're that you're frustrated with something. It can also be an indication that it doesn't fit your business, and that's totally fine, but you're going to have to just be really honest with yourself. Or another sign that you're stuck and not just busy is you keep asking the same questions repeatedly, right? And so for me in that book project, it was, well, what am I missing? Well, what am I missing? I feel like the story's there, but I also feel like it's not done. What am I missing? That was a good indication to me that I need outside help. Okay, so let's say you have gone through the signs and you have decided that you are actually stuck. So when I started this video, I identified the surface problem as being the thing that keeps us stuck, because we're not actually focusing on the root problem. So the next part of this video, we're going to get to the real thing you're stuck on. What is that root problem? And we're going to use the 5 whys. 5 whys can be really hard to do on yourself, but not impossible. All right, so how does the 5 whys work? The 5 whys works by asking why, and then giving an answer, and then taking that answer and turning it into a why question. So, for example, you might say, I can't write my outline, right? I'm going to go back to we're going to keep this example in this video. Why can't I write my outline? Well, I can't write my outline because I'm not sure what I should be including. Okay, so we take that answer, I'm not sure what I should be including, and we pull it out and we add a why to it. Why don't I know what to include? That's a hard question. But if you can get yourself to an answer, and that answer might be something like, I don't know what to include because there's a lot of information that they need to be able to do the thing. Maybe that's it. So we've now answered 2 whys. So we're going to pull that answer out and ask our 3rd why question. Why do they need so much information to be able to do the thing? That's our 3rd why question. And so the answer to that one, it could be a lot of things. And as you can see, how you answer the why question is what's really going to drive getting to the core problem, which is why it's so useful. And you can use it in any context. And so the answer to why do they need so much information, that could look like a lot of things. It could look like because I don't have any concrete goals. It could look like because I've made this too big. It could look like because this should be a certificate and not a single course, right? There's a lot of ways that you could answer that. And then you would take it, and I'm going to just go ahead and stick with because I don't have concrete goals. And you're going to take that answer and again, turn it into our 4th why question. Why don't I have concrete goals? The answer to that, again, might be lots of different things, but maybe one of those answers is because I don't know what they want, right? And then you take that, why don't I know what they want? And that's your 5th why question. And the response then is because I didn't ask them, or I didn't validate, or whatever language you want to use, right? Validation comes from asking real live humans what they want, what they think, what they need. So that's just an example of how you can use the 5 whys to start from what you think you're stuck on to what the root of the actual problem is. So this can look like, or this can show up as a lot of different things, right? I gave you the validation avoidance as one. It can also show up as, fear of something masquerading as logistics. It can show up as perfectionism disguised as like planning. I love a good plan. We should absolutely have plans, but there comes a point where you have to just stop planning and do the dang thing. Okay, so all of that was in an effort to help you figure out, should you continue to DIY or should you get help? And now you can actually decide because you have an idea of what the root of the problem is. And when you know the root of the problem, you can determine, oh, this is something I know always comes up. I always hide my perfectionism as planning. I know how to get through this. Or this is something I've never done before. I don't know how to get through this, right? So DIY when the root problem needs information and learning, right? You can go find the things. You can still DIY when you have time to experiment, right? And so if you have the root problem and there's several different ways you could work through it and you have the information that you need and you can solve it yourself, absolutely DIY it. Get help when the root problem needs an outside perspective. So for me and that book, that is absolutely where I am. You also should get help when you've tried solving it multiple times, right? I have looked at this dang thing and asked the same question for weeks. It's a clear sign that this is what I need to do. You also should get help when the opportunity cost is killing you. So what that means is you are taking so long to work through it yourself, you're missing out on the opportunity to actually make money with this thing, to actually help the people that you're trying to help. So like I said, multiple degrees in writing. I've even taught writing. Writing is a lot like designing a course because we need that external feedback because writing isn't just about me, not when I want to share it, right? It's about other people reading and responding to and getting the point of the story too. Courses are the same way. When you design a course, it's not about you. Part of it needs to be about you. Should be something you love. It needs to be something that fits your business and what you're trying to do and what you can handle. But it's also about the person that's trying to learn from you. And so we need outside perspectives to help with those things. So, moral of the story, use the 5 whys to figure out what you're really stuck on when you're DIYing things. Because once you know, you can decide, do I need information? There's lots of information in my YouTube channel. Or do I need perspective? If it's perspective, book a 15-minute free consult. Link is in the description. And we'll work through the specific thing that you are unstuck on. And yes, I can absolutely do it in 15 minutes. In next week's video, I'm going to cover why when you rely heavily on AI for a course, it's going to be garbage. If it's not there, it'll be there next week.